Not gonna lie, this episode is gonna be a tough one, a quite a difficult one, and maybe some of you might not even watch this because you might not want to face this, but welcome back to the channel. Today is Magic Practice Day 15. Congratulations, we've made it through 2 weeks of the Magic Practice. Leave it down in the comments how you're feeling. It would be nice to know. So today we're dealing with everybody's favorite topic, relationships. Relationships, if you don't know how to handle them, can be an icky, tricky, sticky business. But if you do know what to do, we can really change things around. If you have a difficult or a broken relationship, or are suffering from a broken heart, or you hold any resentment or blame towards another person for anything, and maybe you're currently suffering anything from moderate to intense pain from the above situations that I've described. And if that's you, this video is for you, because today we are going to change that through gratitude. Yes, gratitude, if you haven't gotten it by now. You know, when we're faced with a difficult relationship or we have a challenging situation in a relationship, in most cases, how many of you find yourselves blaming the other person? Oh, it was his fault. She started it. She said this about me. No, he hurt me first. No, she was the one who hurt me. Sound familiar? Blaming is similar to complaining. And if you've been following the Magic Practice so far, one of the things you would have heard me say over and over again is that when you complain, when you're busy blaming things on other people, that means you don't have a shred of gratitude. And when you don't have gratitude, you don't practice gratitude, the situations in your life can never be better, and in fact, it's only gonna make things worse. I don't know about you, but for those of you who have partners, have you ever gotten into a fight with your significant other and it doesn't get resolved, and you find that when you go about your day, it seems like every single thing happening in your day gets crappier and crappier? Or maybe you had a fight with your loved one or the people around you, and that negative energy continued with the rest of your day, sometimes even through the days or the weeks. Remember this, the more you blame, the worse the relationship gets and the worse your life gets. And for those of you, maybe it's a past relationship that you're having trouble putting down. Maybe it's bad feelings you've had for another person for some time now and have had bad feelings about the way things happen. Now, if you have someone in mind when you hear this, you may be thinking, why would I want to remove any bad feelings about them? Well, someone once said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else, but you are the one getting burned. When you hold on to bad feelings about another person, it's like you holding on to hot coal which burns your life. And I understand this because I've been there too, where I have been holding on to anger about someone in my life, and I can assure you it does not end pretty. You might think being angry gives you the upper hand or gives you more power, but the reality is having anger inside of you strips you of your humanity, it destroys you, and it eats you up from inside, and it is not a nice feeling to have. And that is why today's practice is so important, to learn how to use gratitude, and you can use gratitude to change things around in your life, including the situations which you thought were impossible. For some people, if you've recently lost a loved one or are suffering from grief, can definitely follow along with today's practice and use gratitude to improve the situation you're facing. So how do you practice this today to navigate through this pain? Here are some examples which you can draw reference from to navigate what you are facing in your life right now. For example, if you have an ex-partner who is connected to you through your children and the relationship isn't good, look at your children's faces and realize that they wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for your ex-partner. Your children's lives are one of the most precious gifts you have. Look at your children, and depending on how the situation was, it may not be easy for some of you, and it's okay, but give thanks to your ex-partner for their lives every single day. It's okay if you find this not easy and you can't do it right now, but the fact that you're watching until here means something, and just know that I'm proud of you. When you do find the strength sometime down the road, doing this practice will not only help the relationship, but more importantly, help you to put down that hot coal that maybe you've been holding on for quite some time. So maybe this is your sign to put it down and start inviting the good things in your life which you deserve. If you're suffering from a broken heart or grief, you too can use gratitude's magical power to transform your pain. So for today's practice, you are going to look for the hot coal that is burning in your life. That situation, that relationship that comes to mind when you hear this, literally it is the one that you need to choose to learn how to turn that hot coal into gold using the power of gratitude. So today, choose one difficult or problematic or broken relationship that you want to improve. It doesn't matter whether the person is currently in your life or if it's a past relationship and the person is no longer in your life. Sit down and make a written list of 10 things you're grateful for about the person you've chosen. Think back through the history of the relationship and list the great things about the person or the great things you received from the relationship. The easiest way to do this is to think back to the way things were before the relationship ended or deteriorated. If the relationship was never good, then think hard about any good qualities in the person because they are there. Remember, this practice is not about who's right or who's wrong. No matter what you feel someone has done to you before, no matter what someone said to you, or no matter what they didn't do or what they did to you, you can magically heal the relationship. And the good news is you can do this practice. You don't need the other person there in order to heal it. In every relationship, no matter what happened, there is gold. You just have to find it. As you dig and discover that nugget of gold, write it down and address that person by name and express your gratitude to them. For example, and this is a personal example of mine with my maternal grandmother who had passed on 3 years ago. Grandma, despite how tough it was for you back in your day, I'm grateful to you for bringing up my mom as a single mom so that she could eventually meet my dad and eventually have me. So some other examples that you can put through are, Paul, I'm grateful for our time together. While our marriage did end, I learned a lot and I am so much wiser today. And I use what I learned from our marriage in many of my relationships today. Paul, I'm grateful for everything you did to try and make our relationship work because 10 years of marriage means that you did try. Paul, I am grateful to you for our children. The joy I receive from them every day could not be without you. And if anyone's going through any toxic relationships, you can say something like, Paul, I'm grateful for the courage our time together gave me, which taught me to love myself more than anything. Paul, I'm grateful for the courage our relationship gave me to seek out something better, to know in my heart that I deserve to be loved and that I do not need to tolerate being hurt again and again. By the time you have finished your list of 10 things, you should feel much better about the person and the relationship. You want to reach a point where you don't have any bad feelings towards the person anymore, because for every bad feeling you have about someone else, it's actually doing harm onto yourself and your life. Every relationship is different, and if need be, you may choose to repeat this magical practice over a period of time until you reach a point where you don't have any bad feelings towards the person anymore. And if you're using the power of gratitude to improve a current relationship, you will begin to see the relationship change miraculously before your very eyes. It only takes one person to magically change a relationship through gratitude, but remember, if you're able to be the one to do so, you will be the one receiving the benefits in your whole life. If you're practicing this towards a past relationship where you're not in contact with the person anymore, you'll feel a peace and happiness, and at the same time, your other current relationships in your life will magically improve. And in the future, whenever a relationship becomes challenging, remember to use this magical practice immediately to stop the difficulties from getting bigger and use it to increase the magic in that relationship. All the best, guys. So that's it for today's practice. Congratulations on making it this far if you have. And to recap for today's practice, number 1, count your blessings. That's magic practice day 1. If you've not watched the video yet, you may do so first. Number 2, choose one difficult, problematic, or broken relationship that you want to improve. My recommendation is to just choose one anyway, even if you don't feel like you want to improve it, even if you don't feel like you want to make things better. But if that thing and that relationship is affecting you, if you're constantly finding yourself thinking bad things about it, then choose that one, even if part of you might not feel like you want to make it better. But that relationship, the one that is bugging you, is the one that you should choose. Number 3, once you've chosen that situation/relationship, sit down and write a list of 10 things which you're grateful for that relationship, whether it's a current relationship or a relationship that has passed. You may write it down in the following way, starting with their name, followed by what you're grateful for them for. And finally, number 4, just before you go to sleep tonight, hold the magic rock in your hand and think about the one thing that you're the most grateful for before you go to sleep. So that's it for today. If you're new to this channel and have no idea what we're doing here, we're actually doing the magic practice, which is a daily practice over the next 28 days. We're halfway through the challenge. You may wind back and follow it. Your life will magically change. If you got anything out of this video, or if you have anything you want to comment on, feel free to leave it down below. And I would love to get to know what you guys are thinking of. There's a lot of different categories of the magic: relationship, maybe career, maybe health. Which one of these have been the most helpful for you? Let me know as well. Namaste.